So in today's video, I'm going to be taking one of my outdoor arrangements and giving it a little bit of TLC. So I'm going to look through all the dead leaves, see if there's any pups, just make sure they are living, because my troughs are quite high up on my wall and I can't always see them, which is a little bit annoying. I could have probably done with lowering them down a little bit, but it is what it is. And I've got some new purchases I want to show you today. So I've finally taken the plunge into Sedum. I saw some pictures on Kath Suck's Facebook page of her arrangements, and she's got loads of sedums in there, and I thought, wow, they look so beautiful. They really make the arrangement really like full and really colourful. I don't know anything about sedums. I have done a little bit of research prior to this, but not a huge amount, so it is kind of a trial and error. I'm going to see what they look like, see what ones I want to add in and show you today, and then hopefully we can see next year what the progress is of the arrangement, how it looks, and then do I want to change that into all of my outdoor arrangements, which would be a huge job, but yeah, I think they look really good. So it'll be something that is a bit of a learning curve for me, and yeah, a new type of succulent to try. But yeah, I've got a few purchases which I'm going to show you today as well. So here we go, let's get into it. So these are my what I call trough arrangements. So I have 5 on this wall over here, and they do so well because they get quite a lot of rain, especially the top ones. They get quite a lot of rain, but they don't have a lot of soil in there. I don't know if you can see, but these are very, very shallow pots. My husband just made them out of old pallets. So yeah, there's not a lot of soil in there. It is a very gritty mix. So they do, when they get water, it dries up really quickly, which is obviously perfect for succulents, especially, I've got mostly Echeveria in here. I've got a stray Aeonium and a few other little odds, maybe a Crassula here and there. And then the bottom ones get a lot less water because obviously they are a little bit sheltered. So these ones I do have to sometimes walk with my hose. Like now that one's quite thirsty and they just need a little bit of TLC. So I'm just going to focus on one today. If not, this video will be hours long. Yeah, and just look at adding some sedum in. Which one do I, just kicked my arrangements down on the floor. I think I would like to look at this one over here because I would like to leaf prop some of the ones in here. Yeah, and give that a go. Let's do it. Let's get it off the wall. So this is the arrangement. As you can see, there is like a lot of space in here. I could add so many more plants. So that's what I'm going to aim to do over the next, I don't know, next year or so, is just add in bits and bobs. I have got lots I can add in already, but yeah, I'm not going to put too much focus into it at the minute because it is August and I keep thinking it's near the end of the season, which isn't true. But yeah, I'm just a bit aware that it's not the start of the season basically. So that's the arrangement, and I'm now going to show you what I purchased. So these are the items I purchased recently just from a garden centre. They have been sitting outside for a couple of weeks and I can tell they're already really thirsty. We have had quite a lot of rain, but the soil in here is just rock solid. Like I could probably pull this out of here. Oh my god, it's like yeah, so they are gasping for some fresh soil. Yeah, the root system is good, but this is just completely compact, so they're not able to get any of the moisture they've been getting from the rain. I've got some of these which I believe are clavatums, which actually one of you kind people commented on one of my videos and mentioned these, and then I saw them and I thought, you know what, they actually do look really good in arrangements. They could just fill it out and hopefully grow quite compact. So I don't know if that is a sedum clavatum or if it's like a donkey's tail. I'm really not sure. But yeah, I like it anyway. No matter what it is, I like it. It's cute. And then I've got this one. So this one I don't know the name of. This poor little thing. It just says alpine plants. No idea. This one is a sedum. So yeah, that is kind of a bushier one, but I think the flowers on these are meant to be beautiful. I had one of these before and I absolutely loved it. It had the most beautiful flowers. This one's very sparse, not very thick at all, but yeah, I really liked that one. I had that in an outside arrangement, but I left it out all year and I don't know if it was frost hardy, so I'm not sure if this is obviously not a sedum in it. It must be something different, but I liked it anyway, so it's going to go into there. And then so that's the yellow type. Obviously these are the flowers that it can produce. And then I thought, because I had the purple one before, I really wanted that again. So we've got another one. There's a little bit more to the plant of this one. And this is the main one that I'm really excited about. It just looks so pretty. So this is a sedum. I'm not going to pronounce these because I will butcher the names. But yeah, I thought they looked really good and they could plump out the arrangements. Obviously, if you have any knowledge on these and you think this is a terrible idea, please let me know. The only thing I have done research on is they go winter dormant, or dormant in the winter, should I say, which means what I do with all my arrangements is take them into my greenhouse, which is not heated, or heated to like 1 or 2 degrees throughout winter, and they'll be fine without any water. They are hardy to apparently -20, this one is anyway, as long as they are dry. We do not get dry winters in the UK. We have so much rain, so yeah, they'll have to come in the winter. Obviously, if you had them outside, I think if you had them in a really rocky area where they weren't getting loads of rain, if it was a little bit sheltered, they might be fine, but I do not have that in my area at all. We get loads of rain. So yeah, and I've got 2 of those. And then a little bit off topic, but I also saw this beautiful Aeonium, a sweet tea. I thought that was gorgeous. Love the colours. Aeoniums I've had for maybe about 4 years, but I just haven't had many. I've had about 3, I would say. And I left some out when it was snowing last year. I lost some of the heads of them, but some of them survived. So although they are not meant to like the frost and things, I was so lucky to be able to keep them going. So here I'll just insert a picture or video of the ones I have. And then this beauty. So an agave. I don't really have a huge amount of these. I probably have about 4 or 5. But this one just caught my eye, like the colours. It's obviously a variegated one. It's just stunning. Look at all those pups. So I have actually potted this one up, and it's been in my garden getting rain and sun, and just, yeah, really happy. But I loved it. So I saw a whole tray of them, and I was like, wow, they look like sweets or something. Obviously very spiky sweets, don't eat them. But they look gorgeous. So I was like, I have to have one. Yeah, so that's been potted up in a really great mix, and like I say, it's been outside in the rain and sun recently and looks very happy at the minute. So first up, I just want to do like a health check of this arrangement. I did repot it and give it all some fresh soil at the start of this year. The wood is actually swelling a little bit here, but I've added a few odds in, and I've got some which are like head chops, and I'm probably going to take the pups off and maybe remove bits. So yeah, I'm just going to have a tidy up in here. Like some of these are facing the wrong way, and like this is beautiful, so I only want that to face the front where I can actually see it. So I don't know if just alter it and maybe take it all out and start again in some kind of way, maybe add a little bit more grit to it. I'm not sure. I'm going to pop you on a time lapse while I play around and see what we do. So this is it currently. Yeah, I think it just needs a little bit of TLC. There's all sorts going on here, and it doesn't look that great. It needs yeah, a lot more plants in there. So this is really interesting. This is what I would class as a bit of a risk that I just left outside. So I got this earlier in the year. I would say it probably arrived in May or June, and it was a double header. I split it into 2, and I put this one outside, and this is the root system. These plants never root that quickly. Like, that is insane. Well, not for me anyway, because I have mine in the greenhouse because of the weather here. It does rain a lot sometimes. Obviously this summer has been a little bit different, as I've mentioned in my videos, but recently we've had loads of rain again. But it's obviously doing so well. It's getting some kind of nutrients from the soil. Obviously it's drying out really quickly in between waterings. I've just found another one buried in there. So yeah, it's perfect conditions in here because it's plumping, sucking all the water up, and then it's just bone dry afterwards, which is exactly what the succulent needs. So that's amazing. And what I thought is strange, or not strange, but intriguing, is this is the other head. So they were the same size. So this one is obviously a lot bigger. The colour of this is probably a little bit stressed, so it's got some pink tips to it, which I think is beautiful. I do love the blue as well. I'm not saying I prefer this one, I love them both. I think it's really interesting how they change colours depending on the conditions. This one probably is a little bit stressed because it's not got a really deep pot with loads of soil in it. Yeah, and just when it's hot here at the minute, it's really hot, and then when it rains a lot, it rains a lot. So yeah, that might be stressing out a little bit. But this one, the root system, oh, it has rooted a lot more than I actually thought. Oh, the root's coming out the bottom now, so maybe it has had a growth spurt as well, but the root system is nowhere near, obviously, as big as that. So yeah, this really, they love being outside. I wish I lived somewhere like, I don't know, Australia, so I could have them outside all year round. They just are just so much easier outside. I think it's mainly the airflow which succulents enjoy outside. They really tend to dry off quickly after the rain, and yeah, it just does the world of good to them. So that's the little one, that's the big one, and that really shocked me. So I'm going to take some leaves off this actually and leaf prop it because I love this. The form of it, gorgeous. When I'm propping any succulents, I just obviously make sure they're nice and plump first. I'm just going to remove the dead leaves as well. And then I'm just going to look for somewhere which isn't going to be too obvious, because although I don't look at this all the time, I don't like my succulents to look uneven and like I've tampered with them too much. But you just really gently, I say gently, pull the leaf off sideways and it will just then come off in that kind of clean form. You just need to make sure that that growth point on the leaf is intact, and then you should get a nice little pup growth from it. So I'm just going to take maybe 3 leaves off. Let's go for this one. There is a tiny little mealy just in there. I don't know if you can see that, just in there. Because it's outside, I don't treat them because I don't want to hurt the bees. But I'm just going to remove that with my little skewer, and then I will just spray this in alcohol spray. Obviously that doesn't affect the wildlife that I'm aware of. But yeah, I wouldn't treat my outside succulents to bug clear like I would my indoor ones. So I'm going to take 1 more leaf. So I've taken 3, let's go for 4. And then hopefully we'll have some beautiful pups grow. Anyway, sidetracked on like the first section. So that is Pinky Trumpet, by the way. Oh no, it's not, it's Blue Trumpet. I've got that wrong because the colours. So that's Blue Trumpet turning pink. Gorgeous. So that's the arrangement kind of deconstructed. As you can see, there's loads of grit in here. This is compost mixed with, like, it's a cat litter, a molar clay, and I used to use it all the time, but I have gone off it a little bit for my indoor or greenhouse plants, but it seems to be working really well for these ones, so I'm probably not going to interfere with it. I might just add a little bit of maybe John Innes and some grit if I need to top it up, but it's obviously working well for them. These are all the succulents. I can see one possible issue, which is this one. So I'm going to have a look now. It just looks like, I think you should be able to see. So it looks beautiful, but these leaves around here are very translucent. So I wonder if there's some rot in the plant. So it looks really nice, greeny oranges, but if you then look a bit closer, these leaves are very suspicious. So I'm going to just take it apart really and take these leaves off. It could be that they just got waterlogged and the rest of the plant is fine, but it's always best to check. I've only had a few rot outside this year, and they were, I think it was 2 maybe. That was my Baron Bold and my Cream Puff. So yeah, I've had 2 rot outside this year, which is really good going. There's a random one here which is all translucent. So I think I might be best to, it has got some new roots growing. It's always hard to say. Take some more leaves off. It does look quite healthy. I always say, if in doubt, chop, but I really don't know if I want to, because it's got a really good root system. There's some nice fresh white roots growing there. I wonder if it just got some rain and I don't know. I just don't know. But it doesn't look like there's any rot there, because normally you'd have like black spots where the leaves are coming off. So I think I'm actually going to leave it and just see what happens. This one I'm going to risk. It's beautiful. I really don't want to have to chop it, because it looks like we've got some fresh roots growing here. We've got some fresh ones down here. So if it was rotting, it wouldn't be growing fresh roots, in my opinion, in my experience. So I'm going to keep it, and I've obviously just taken off some good leaves as well as some bad ones, so I might be able to propagate them. These bad ones, you just need to go in the bin. They're all translucent, and those ones are crispy. So what I'm going to do is try and find some other succulents. I say try. I've got all sorts which I just leave outside in pots and things, just as like a trial to see how they get on. This one in particular is just throw in some leaves and some pups and see what happens. So I'm probably going to dismantle this and just use these ones which have been successful, because it doesn't look very good, but the ones which have been successful look really nice and plump now. So I'll probably use some of them in the arrangement. Possibly some of these. These are head chops which are starting to root, so I could grab some of those. I may even use this raindrop, which is a pup which is from a head chop which is now rooting. They love light and they love rain, so that would be a good one. And some in here as well. And then in this greenhouse I have got some of my seedlings, which some are hybrids, some are just standard ones I've grown from seed. But I wonder if I could just grab a couple of these out and trial them in the arrangement, just to get them kind of maturing quickly, yeah, and see what they look like. Okay, so now spoiled for choice. I've got some seedlings. This is one I grew from seed, which has just been in the greenhouse being watered every other day. It's a Derenbergi, I believe. Yeah, and then some other little seedlings here, which would be really interesting to see what they do outside. It's a little bit of a risk putting them out because they are quite young. They're only seed grown this year. But I presume they will do quite well because of the conditions at the minute with the rain and the sun. And then we've got some here, which that's a Canty. It just needs a little bit of TLC. We've got some which are starting to root over here as well, and then that pot I mentioned. So I'm going to put them back in, make some room for the sedums and the newbies. Yeah, create something pretty, hopefully. So these are the ones that I bought. I'm just going to separate them and just dot them about in the arrangement. It's such a funny mix. I really don't understand how succulents are grown in this mix, but maybe I'm just no expert of the conditions where they come from. I'm now tipping it all into this mix, which is annoying. But yeah, I'm just going to separate them and then dot them about in the arrangement and see what happens. So this is the first sedum, a very strange kind of barky mix, which I never know if that's what they're meant to be in, because I find that garden centres put things like Echeveria in a very strange mix which wouldn't usually work. But I've got some fertiliser in here as well, so I'm just going to remove all that. Yeah, so that's the plug there, which they're obviously grown in. Let's try and get into. Bug on my arm. I don't understand, because the roots are so small. I was hoping this plant had like 3 different root systems, but obviously not. So really it's got tiny roots for the size of that pot. I don't know much about propagating them, so I'm going to keep them. Oh my goodness, the wind has just taken over. That was my broom that just fell down. So yeah, I'm going to keep them, or keep this as one rather than try and separate it at the minute, and just see how I get on with it. I have actually noticed when doing arrangements and things that if I'm struggling to get something to root, just chuck it in arrangement and it starts rooting. So I head chopped this start of last year maybe, and I just haven't been able to get it to root. It's beautiful, as it's called a Sarah Bonnie, but I couldn't get it to root. But it's been in here for a couple of weeks now, and there is just one white root appearing there. I don't want to damage it, there's just one, but it's doing something. It's more than it has done for a year and a half nearly. So yeah, this is good news. So if you're ever in doubt and can't get a succulent to root, just chuck it in an outside arrangement, make sure it's very gritty, or in a really gritty mix in a small pot. I've done that with another one of my variegated ones, which never rooted when I bought that, and that's also got a little root as well. So just a tip if you're ever struggling. So this is kind of stage one of me putting everything back in, plus a few extras. I think it's looking really good. It's a bit more full than it was. Just need to, sorry, my cat's down there playing with my little girl sandpit. Yeah, I just need to keep adding to it. And then I think what I might do to finish it off, because I think it looks a little bit messy, I'm probably going to add a top layer of dressing to it, just some grit or something like that, so it looks a bit tidier. I think that would make it look a lot different and make it really stand out, and especially the colours, because some of the colours of these plants are just stunning. So I really want to make them pop. Yeah, and I need to add a bit more sedum. So I've still got all these to use. I don't know if I want to use them all because I have got 4 other arrangements to do. I won't do them all today, but I would like to do them in the near future. So I've got a little bit carried away and not really left a lot of space. However, we're going to add some more of this in. So this is a sedum. I have been just taking some pups off these as well and putting them in there. I'm just hoping I can kind of section these out into little pieces. God, so much. Is that bark? I don't really know what it is. I think I'm going to try and just section it into little bits and do it like that, maybe even smaller, just to fill in the gaps really. I do want to save some for my arrangements, which I have on the floor as well. Maybe even separate that again. Will it let me? Right, so I'm going to add some of this in. So I think I'm going to keep it like that with that amount of succulents in, and then just add some more fresh soil, obviously gritty soil, to the top, and then I'm going to cover it with the gravel. I don't want to make it so it is completely compact because I think I'd like some room for them to grow. It is currently August, so we've got a couple of months left of kind of the full growing season until the weather changes a little bit. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. So after lots of playing around and probably hours of doing this, we are done, and I think it looks really good. It's not as chock-a-block as I probably have seen in pictures and things, which inspired me, but I think I do need some room for the succulents to grow, and there's a lot of ones which are kind of head chops and just starting to root. So as soon as they do grow their established root system, they are going to grow really quickly, especially being outside, as obviously the example of the blue trumpet. So I've added lots of little stem cuttings and little bits of sedum, not as much sedum as I probably thought I was going to, but the more I look at like these ones, the more I think they'd probably suit an arrangement which is on the floor, and I've got plenty of them to add them to, so I might do that in a future video. Yeah, and the Aeoniums I wasn't going to add in here anyway. I was going to do like a whole new arrangement for my Aeoniums because they have different growth to an echeveria and other succulents that I have. They are more autumn growers, which I find really interesting, so I might do a video on them because I don't know a huge amount of them, but I'd like to learn and possibly learn with you. So yes, that was what I'm doing. Yeah, so I'm going to show you now what it looks like, and then we're going to put it back on the wall and then look how different it looks compared to the other ones. And it just means I've got another 4 of these to do because I really want to have them all looking kind of the same. And I think it looks really good, especially with the top dressing on top. I think it makes a really good difference. So let's have a look. And this is what it looks like. So obviously I've got lots of little ones in here. I've got some seedlings and things which are a little bit of a risk. I'm not sure they're going to work. Some little head chops there. Obviously I've got the old established ones in there as well, so they are looking stunning. It just looks so colourful, doesn't it? Just so many different things to look at, and it's just a really interesting arrangement. So that is the final product. So that's it. What do you think? What are your opinions on the arrangement? I was a little bit worried about putting it back on the wall, as you probably saw there, because I've added the gravel and I suppose a bit more soil. It's a lot heavier and it's only kind of clipped on with those two brackets at the side. So I'm going to ask my husband when he gets home if he can just double check it, because I don't trust that that's not going to fall down and I would be devastated. So yeah, that's not on the wall yet anyway. But what did you think? Have you got any sedums in your collection? Are there any bits of advice that you'd like to share with me? I'd really appreciate it. But thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, please subscribe and ask away any questions you have. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.